The war in Ukraine is not only fought on the front lines of trenches and ruined villages, but also deep within the lifeblood of its logistics. On the morning of August 25th, a silent drone camera hovered above the fog-covered village of Ostrovskoye in the Zaporizhzhia region. The scene seemed quiet at first, almost muted by the morning haze, until a flash erupted from the earth below. Moments later, a massive explosion tore through the depot of Ukrainian fuel and lubricants, and thick black smoke spiraled upward, dwarfing the village around it. Russia's Vostok military group had struck with its rocket artillery, and in an instant, Ukraine lost one of its vital fuel storage facilities. The burning depot was not just another casualty of war, it was a deliberate strike against Ukraine's ability to move, to resupply, and to fight. The footage released from the battlefield was haunting. Recorded through the lens of a Russian drone, the explosion seemed to pierce the fog itself. Though the visibility was poor, the towering column of fire and smoke was unmistakable. What had been fuel tanks and warehouses moments earlier had turned into a blazing inferno, consuming everything stored inside. Judging from the spread of the flames, it was not a small cache. It was a facility meant to keep armored vehicles, trucks, and artillery supplied with the lifeblood of war, diesel, and lubricants. The Russian Ministry of Defense quickly confirmed the details. Their rocket artillery, deployed as part of the Vostok military group, had targeted and destroyed the depot, neutralizing what they described as a significant Ukrainian fuel storage site. This was not an isolated incident. In the days before the strike, Russian forces had escalated their attacks across Zaporizhzhia. On August 23rd, drones from the Dnieper group of forces dropped explosives onto a Ukrainian dugout. The blast captured in stark footage as the bunker was consumed by fire. We'll go back to the earlier incident. On August 20th, the same Dnieper group had struck a pickup truck ferrying supplies, along with as many as 5 dugouts used by Ukrainian units. Taken together, these were not random attacks. They were a campaign. Rather than focusing all of its efforts on territorial gains, Russia has been conducting what military analysts describe as infrastructure attrition. By systematically destroying Ukraine's supply hubs, whether drone factories in Kyiv, ammunition depots in Melitopol, or now fuel storage in Zaporizhzhia, Moscow seeks to grind down Kyiv's ability to sustain the war itself. Rocket artillery plays a central role in this strategy. Unlike missiles or aircraft, it offers rapid, concentrated strikes that can overwhelm specific targets with precision when paired with drone reconnaissance. The footage from Ostrovskoye revealed how this pairing worked in practice. Drones scouted, artillery fired, and seconds later, fire consumed the depot. While the Ministry of Defense did not specify which system was used, analysts suggest that the Vostok group likely relied on one of Russia's advanced multiple-launch rocket systems. Candidates include the BM-21 Grad, capable of firing 40 launch tubes of 122mm caliber rockets. Another possibility is the Uragan-1M system, versatile in firing both 220mm and 300mm rockets depending on mission requirements. Given the size of the explosion and the accuracy demonstrated, the Tornado S stands as a strong hypothesis, since it combines the destructive power of heavy rockets with satellite-guided precision that fits the profile of the strike at Ostrovskoye. On August 24th, the Russian Ministry of Defense also released new footage showing how Moscow continues to expand its capabilities beyond logistic strikes. In the recording, storming soldiers of the Sever group of forces underwent combat and team training at a training ground in the rear area of the special military operation before facing real action at the front line. Not only the Sever group, but also assault detachments of the 58th Army of the Dnieper group of forces were shown training to seize fortified positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Zaporizhzhia region. This display served as a reminder that Russia's strategy is not limited to rocket and drone attacks, but also involves preparing its infantry to capitalize on weakened Ukrainian defenses. For Ukraine, the loss of the Ostrovskoye depot was more than a tactical setback. It was a wound to its operational capabilities. The Ukrainian war effort depends not only on foreign weapons, but also on the logistical lifelines that make those weapons function. Without secure storage and distribution, even the most advanced tanks or artillery pieces are reduced to immobile metal. The timing of the strike could not have been worse for Ukraine. In recent weeks, Zaporizhzhia and the neighboring Dnipropetrovsk region have endured relentless Russian pressure. Zaporizhzhia, long seen as a gateway between East and South Ukraine, now finds itself under constant siege from these layered attacks. With each strike, Moscow signals its intent to not just fight Ukraine in the open field, but to choke the very logistics that make resistance possible. Lately, Russian FPV drones have prowled the skies, striking bunkers, vehicles, and even small supply convoys. By August 25th, with the fuel depot in flames, those disruptions turned into systemic damage. The front line near Zaporizhzhia is one of Ukraine's most critical, and without fuel, its defenders face a daunting challenge. Finally, after a fierce battle and mutual repulse, on the same date as the storage facility bombing, the military news channel released another striking video. It showed Russian soldiers raising the Russian flag in the liberated village of Zaporizhzhia in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The symbolism of the flag planting resonated deeply. While Russian artillery reduced Ukraine's fuel reserves to ash, its troops claimed ground, signaling both tactical and psychological dominance. That's wrap up for today. Thanks for watching.